Hello, everybody, and welcome to Facebook Live. And I'm also co-recording on YouTube. This is the big full moon lunar eclipse astrological forecast here, so you don't want to miss it. I'm just going to, since I am live on Facebook and also co-recording on YouTube, I'm just going to give it just a moment for people to join live so that they can comment, that they can hear me, and that everything is going well with the recording. This is the first time I have a new setup, and this is the first time I'm trying to do this different style of recording, so bear with me just a little bit. I've been having some issues with Facebook lately, so if you see me looking up and then looking down, that's because I have two cameras. I have two recording sources right now that are going simultaneously, and it's very exciting. So welcome everybody who is joining me tonight live. Go ahead and comment below your astrological sign and where you're tuning in from. I love to hear that. And we're going to be talking about this big lunar eclipse, but it's so much more than just a lunar eclipse. There's so much more going on right now than just this one astrological thing. So welcome to people who are joining. People are starting to like the video, so that's awesome. If you're on YouTube and you're watching, welcome, and go ahead and like the video, because that does help it to get up in the algorithm. And hey Gloria, welcome on Facebook. So you can hear me. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me, because I have a whole different setup going on tonight. I've been trying to solve these technical issues, but I've heard a lot of people saying that Facebook Lives lately have been very glitchy. So if you're watching this as a pre-recorded, I'm live right now, but if you're watching this as a pre-recorded video, and it's too glitchy, go over to YouTube and watch it there, because it'll be less glitchy. But stay here for now, because I am here live talking about, okay, Gloria said she can hear me. Perfect. So anyway, so I'm here talking about this big full moon eclipse going on in the astrological sign of Taurus, 16 degrees Taurus. So if you have any Taurus in your astrological chart, or if you have Scorpio, or if you have Leo or Aquarius, you're going to be getting the full brunt of this eclipse that is going on. And it's the full moon, it's the blood moon, and it's happening on the day of the United States elections. What could go wrong? So welcome everybody who's joining. Please like the post and go ahead and comment, because it starts to get the algorithm going, and I love to hear from people what astrological sign that you are in your chart. So yeah, so the eclipse is going to be, the peak of it, the height of it is actually going to be tomorrow morning. And that's going to be on the 7th, which is obviously the time of the day of the elections. So we have a lot going on right now, astrologically speaking, and we have a lot going on. It started really last weekend and then into this week. So thank you for everybody. Almir, welcome. Okay, good. It looks like people are joining, so I'm excited. You're a Taurus. Almir is a Taurus. Welcome. Kathy, hey, Scorpio. So I'm going to be talking a lot about Taurus and Scorpio. So if you're just joining, hey, I love this. So this is called the Beaver Moon. That's the proper name of this particular full moon in November, is the Beaver Moon. And it is a total eclipse, which is going to be visible from the United States. Now, typically speaking, there's only usually, and if you see my eyes going up and down, that's, I have two cameras going tonight. So that's basically what the deal is. Yes, Almir said, I'm going to be at the epicenter of this particular eclipse. Yes, if you are Taurus or Scorpio, 16 degrees, roughly, if your birthday is around this time of the month for you, then you will be feeling this eclipse. So the peak of it, the height of it, is going to be at 6:02 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow morning on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. and it'll be earlier than that if you're out on the West Coast at 3:02 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, daylight savings time. We're no more. So, hey Kim, welcome. Hey Kelly, yes, nice to see you. Yes, I have a whole different setup tonight, so I'm hoping everybody can can watch it uninterrupted. I've been hearing a lot of feedback from you guys, and I by the way, I think it's helpful feedback when you let me know that it's glitchy, because I can't do anything about that on Facebook, and I've heard a lot of people complaining about Facebook Lives lately have been glitchy, so I don't know if it's my setup, but I'm trying to do everything on my end that I can cure this. And speaking of which, we not only do we have the full moon lunar eclipse happening, but we also have Mars retrograde, and Mars retrograde is just on top of all this, and that's in the astrological sign of Gemini. So even though it's Mars retrograde, it has sort of some elements and some little things about it that are actually similar to a Mercury retrograde, because it's in the sign of Gemini, and Gemini is Mercury ruled. So this is like a mercurial Mars situation. So, and then we have Uranus. Uranus is going to be active all, this whole week, and it started last weekend going into this week. So then we have Uranus active. And so, I mean, this is going to be a lot. So I'm going to break it down for all y'all. Welcome. If you're just joining, I love that you like and share, because that's how the good word gets spread. And that's how all these social media algorithms tend to operate when we do that. So getting back to this eclipse. So it's going to be happening tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow morning, 6:02 a.m. Eastern time. And it is viewable from the United States, this particular total blood, they call it a blood moon, because it's viewable from the East Coast, and it's going to be, just so you guys know, I'll give you the times. You will be able to see it. It's going to technically start around 3 a.m., but the peak of it is almost going to be dawn on the East Coast, so 5:17 a.m. Eastern time. If you're able to see it and you're lucky, and you can check it out. Now, if you live on the West Coast, you'll minus 3 hours, and be on the West Coast, it'll be like 2:17 a.m. will be the height of it, or the peak of it. So that'll be kind of fun, that you'll be able to see all of the eclipse. Now, the moon is going to set around 6 a.m. So it's going to be completely done by then. And that's when we get into dawn, and it'll be harder and harder to see. So they're saying if you see it just a little bit before the peak, before the 5:17 peak a.m., if you're looking at such things, then you'll be able to really see the shadow and everything else. However, that's astronomy. And in astrology, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you see it, you don't see it, if it's total, if it's partial or whatever, doesn't really matter. What matters is the energy of eclipses. Now, full moons in themselves, you guys know, if you've been watching me for a while, full moons is when the sun and the moon are actually in opposite signs. So we can see the full moon, the full brightness of the moon. And so the sun is going to be 16 degrees Scorpio, and then the moon is going to be 16 degrees Taurus. So the sun and the moon are opposite right now. So if you are Scorpio, or if you are Taurus, you will be feeling this particular full moon at its, you're going to be in the peak of it, or the height of it. So having said that, you will be able to see it or feel the energy. We might, I usually, around full moons, or even around these eclipse times, either one of two things happens. Either we're filled with energy, and there's a tons of energy, and we can't sleep, and we have all these troubles, or we're utterly exhausted. It's usually one of the two. It's usually like the opposite ends of the spectrum. It's not usually neutral typically, though it depends on what is going on in your astrological chart, where 16 degrees Taurus falls, what house, what area, and then you will know how that will affect you. Now, remember, full moons are endings, completion, wrapping up of a cycle. We're finished with something. Now, technically speaking, we started this cycle during the new moon in Taurus, which happened on April 30th, 2022. So we are now completing that cycle. We're wrapping it up. Okay, we came down to the ending. Joanne said, "Eek, I'm a Taurus." Yeah, you better listen, Joanne, because there's a lot. Rosalie, Capricorn, welcome. So Chris, hey, welcome. I love that you guys are posting your astrological signs and commenting below, because again, that helps. Now this is unusual this year because we are having 2 total lunar eclipses this year. 2. Usually one happens like every 2 or 3 years, but we're having 2 in 2022. So that's kind of exciting and fun that we have 2 total lunar eclipses that are both viewable, by the way, from the United States, both of them. The last one happened in May. And that one happened in Scorpio on May 16th. And that was the last total lunar eclipse that took place. Now, remember what I told you guys last time when I recorded my previous video 2 weeks ago during the solar eclipse new moon, is that the nodes of the moon, the astrological nodes of the moon, are basically what denote where the eclipses are taking place. So they're either in 2022 and even getting into 2023, they're either going to be in Taurus or in Scorpio, because that's where the nodes of the moon are. And if you want to check out a video that describes that even more completely, you can go over to my YouTube channel and go under videos and pull up, I did a whole video about the nodes of the moon. So, and that basically, why would you want to know that? Because eclipses are transformation, something is changing. And so we have an election tomorrow. I'm going to talk about this election, but we have an election tomorrow, and the United States election is a big one. So things are changing, and there's going to be more change and more change and more change. So eclipses are very important when you look at your astrological chart. Where do the eclipses fall within the chart in order for you to know where are we experiencing this change? Where's the change coming? And where has it been for you? Not just this eclipse, not just 2 weeks ago in the last eclipse, but over the last year and going into the next year, there's huge change. And that's why whenever the nodes of the moon change, is a big, huge deal. They will be changing into the next sign, which is going to be Libra and Aries, but we won't talk about that during this broadcast. Because that's more change. That's even more change if you're a Libra or an Aries. And I have a couple Libra Aries people that are joining me tonight. Kathy, welcome. Sagittarius, Rita, Virgo, welcome. Colorado. I love that you guys are from all over. Holly, welcome. Kim, Virgo, Amy, Leo, Sun, Libra, rising, Scorpio, moon. So see, you're gonna have that Scorpio moon being highlighted. Almost for you, Amy, this is gonna almost be like a full moon for it will be like a personal full moon for you. It is a full moon, but it'll be one for you personally. Michelle, Lee, Richmond, hey, welcome, Leo. Emily, Cancer. Joanne said, Lord, my husband is a Libra. Yeah. So there's gonna be a lot of change coming over time, and that's gonna be something that's gonna be affecting us for a long time. So, but remember, we can't skip ahead. We want to stick with this Taurus, Scorpio, because that's what we are in the mix right now. Taurus, Scorpio. So also tomorrow, and I want to break down tomorrow really completely, because not only is this a lunar eclipse full moon, and a blood moon, which is what we call total eclipses, because it turns like a reddish color. I know it sounds sort of, ooh, bloody, but it's not. It's just the color, and the ancients called it the blood moon. And, they, of course, a lot of people felt back in those time frames, in the ancient time frames, that was scary, when they didn't understand what eclipses even were. So when the moon turned red, you can imagine they were like, what's going to happen? Now we know, obviously, what eclipses are. And in astrology, what an eclipse is, what happens is the sun and the moon pass by each other, right? So for a moment, it's like rebooting a computer, okay? The energy turns off, the energy comes back on, okay? And that's basically what the deal is with the moon happening and passing by each other. So it's like rebooting a computer. So if you basically have an area in your life you want to reboot right now, we just had an eclipse 2 weeks ago in Scorpio during the new moon. That was a solar eclipse. Full moon is always a lunar eclipse. So during this particular, we're ending something, we're completing something, we're wrapping up something, whereas 2 weeks ago we were starting something new, we were initiating a new cycle in our lives. And by the way, astrologers really feel it's not just this day. I'm gonna talk a lot about this day because, you know, it's the peak of it and it's also the United States election, but it's not just this day. You have to think about eclipses. There's almost like a whole 6-week cycle around eclipses that you can start to really feel. So we've been feeling this energy all the way since October last month. And now we're in the new cycle and we're in the new month. And this is basically what we're dealing with in the beginning of the month here. So tomorrow on November 8th, we have the sun forming a conjunction with Mercury. And then we have Mercury forming an opposition with Uranus. Then the next day, the sun is forming an opposition with Uranus. And then last week on Saturday, Venus formed an opposition with Uranus. So Venus, Mercury, and the sun are all three opposing Uranus. Uranus is retrograde right now in Taurus. And then the sun, Mercury, Venus are all in Scorpio. And so they're opposing Uranus. And Uranus is great upsets, unexpected events, surprises, shakeups, something different, something outside the box, something unexpected. So when we talk about this eclipse globally, it's affecting everybody on the planet. It's like swells of energy. And we might hear, I even saw, I'm in New England, obviously, and I even saw that there was some earthquakes last weekend I think one in New Hampshire and one in Rhode Island, which earthquakes are not unusual, but they are on the East Coast like that. So I think it was only like a 2 grade. It wasn't a big one, but it was definitely shakeups and unexpected events. So whenever we look at Uranus in astrology, we're always looking at something that's unexpected. It's a destabilizer. It's shaking. It's literally can be disorders of the electric system of the body. It can be migraine headaches. It can be seizures. It can be tremors. It can be spasms. And so when we're looking at Uranus, we're looking at things that are shaky or shaking up something. Now, most astrologers classify Uranus as a malefic planet, meaning that it's not a positive planet. I don't look at Uranus that way. I think that Uranus is the wild card. It literally, the nickname of Uranus is the Great Awakener or the wild card in astrology. So when I'm talking about Uranus, yeah, okay, it's a destabilizer and it can wake us up and it can shake us up and it can really jolt us into action. But I don't think that's always a bad thing, actually. I really don't. I think that sometimes we need a shakeup. Sometimes we need an unexpected event. Sometimes we need a little, you know, it's like having a double espresso in our coffee, you know, kind of thing. Yeah, so it's one of those things that with Uranus being so active, there's going to be a big shakeup tomorrow. And even in our own personal charts, where's Uranus? In your chart, it's in Taurus right now. It's been in Taurus. It's going to continue to be in Taurus. It's retrograde in Taurus. Where's Scorpio right now? Okay, because in your chart. So when we look at these planets now, if, like I just said, if you are Taurus and Scorpio are a fixed sign. So if you are another fixed sign, meaning Leo or Aquarius, that will kind of also stimulate you. If you are an earth sign, so Virgo or Capricorn, you'll feel this because this is earth energy. Taurus is earthy. It's very earth driven and earth focused. So when we have these you'll be feeling that too, you know. I mean, if you're an earth sign, you know, all the earth signs will be feeling like this, ooh, you know, what's happening. And so there is a little bit of, I don't want to say little, actually. There's a lot of unrest with this particular full moon. It feels a little destabilizing. And so I have people that are liberal, that are Republican, that are Democratic, that watch my broadcasts. And so somebody's going to be upset. I mean, somebody tomorrow is going to be upset. And Uranus really does favor think progressive, think outside the box, think different. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. Now, I just said that Aquariuses are going to be feeling this a lot. And so when we're looking at the predictions for tomorrow, you know, there's going to be some shakeups here that people did not see. And there might be another counting and recounting kind of situation going on tomorrow, because the dust doesn't settle right away, because there's this unsettled energy happening. And at the same time, the Sun and Mercury are conjunct each other at the same time. They're both opposing Uranus, and then the Sun is opposing the Moon. Oh my God. So then we have what's called a new Mercury happening tomorrow. So this always happens whenever Mercury was retrograde, right? So Mercury goes retrograde, right? It goes back. Then when it comes forward, and then it actually overtakes the Sun. So in essence, Mercury is also eclipsing the Moon and also eclipsing the Sun. So we have like a new Mercury. Usually just one of these things is a big deal. Usually just one of these aspects is a big deal and could be, I don't want to say life-changing, but yeah, I mean, it could really, really, really stir up the pot and really create a lot of change and a lot. So when you think Mercury and Uranus, they're the two live wires of the zodiac. We call them the live wires because they're literally associated with technology, and they're associated with how we talk and how we communicate. They're associated with electricity, literally. Then we have all of this kind of very electrical, like lightning. Lightning is Uranus. So think about all this is like very unsettled energy. It's very lively, and it's very, people are going to be very stirred up tomorrow. And even, it doesn't even end after tomorrow. You know, the sun is going to oppose Uranus on Wednesday at 3:26 a.m. Eastern time on Wednesday the 9th. And then tomorrow the Sun is going to form a conjunction with Mercury, and that's going to be 11:42 a.m. Eastern time. And then later in the day at 9:40 p.m. Eastern time is Mercury being opposite of Uranus, and we could hear some real unexpected news, okay, after this, you know, when the polls are coming in and stuff. I actually my prediction or my feeling about this, and you know, it's scary putting yourself out there like that, but I actually think it's going to end up being split. I think one of the House and the Senate are going to be split. One's going to go blue, one's going to go red, and I feel like as if there is going to be a splitting of energy. I did predict all the way back when I was talking a lot about predictions with who was going to win this presidency, which I did predict Joe Biden was going to win. And I predicted that, but he was going to have a lot of problems getting things passed, and because he was going to be blocked from possibly the House or Senate or both. And so that it was going to be leaning more Republican, and it seems to be going that way. But I actually think it's going to be very, very, very tight with the Senate, and I think that possibly it could maybe flip. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like there's going to be like this like kind of shock, you know, because Uranus is shocking. I mean, when we look at this type of energy, Uranus is very shocking, brings unexpected events. I always say you could unexpectedly win the lottery in your life. I mean, that could be a very fun Uranus kind of thing to happen. So yeah, so I hope some of that information helps. Again, on a personal level, not just looking at this election, on a personal level, where is the innovation? Like Uranus and even Mercury can be, because Mercury's in not in Gemini, but Mars is in Gemini. I'm sorry. Mars is in Gemini right now. Let's talk about Mars for a moment too. I want to talk about that. People are liking my post. I love that. Kelly said, darn, she forgot to get a ticket. Yeah, I heard that it increases your chances of winning playing the lottery. You got to buy a ticket. Melinda in Vermont, welcome. Wendy, hey Wendy, Aquarius. Yeah, so you're going to be feeling this, Wendy. Wendy's an Aquarius, so should be feeling this. Yes, thank you for the hearts, because it does keep this algorithm going. Bring on the Powerball winner. Yeah, well, that's the other thing of this, is that there is the Powerball also happening, and that's going to be a big thing. I know I didn't get a ticket either. I should have gotten one. I was out running errands today, but I had a lot on my list to accomplish. And a lot of you might be feeling that. Like I was just saying, I have a lot on my list I was accomplishing. You might be feeling busy. You might be feeling a little hectic, or a little like, gosh, I can't calm down. You know, I mean, the last couple nights, sleeping wise, I was very, like up, you know, and it's funny because science has proven that during the full moon cycles, people lose sleep, but they don't know why. They think, you know, science, they think it's from the circadian rhythm gets disrupted because the moon is so bright and the light wakes us up. But I would say as an astrologer, it might be a little bit more than that too. And that gravitational pull, like we feel that pull, you know, that's why the tides swell up, and, you know, people do go a little kooky on the full moon. Let's just face it. I one time was speaking literally with a police chief who actually said to me that they give more manpower to the police during full moon cycles. They have seen a pattern, and hospital rooms fill up, babies are born. It does tend to be a time, I call these times portal times, meaning that souls tend to come in, but souls also tend to leave during eclipses, full moon, especially full moons, and especially eclipses. So you got a full moon and an eclipse. So people tend to come and people tend to go as far as souls. It tends to be a portal time. And this particular, the sun is in Scorpio right now, which is the other side. It's the mystery, it's the worldly side. It's all of those types of things, right? It's psychology, it's secrets. It's, you know, we're in Scorpio season right now. And then we have Taurus. Taurus is a little bit more about feel it, hear it, touch it, smell it. Taurus is very tangible. So you want to talk about Taurus and money, and also goods. You know, I've been talking about the Saturn Uranus Square. If you guys have been watching me regularly, going on, that's what's been happening the last 2 years with the Saturn Uranus Square, where we've been running out of goods, we're running out of supplies, and I did just see that the train strike is still kind of activated right now, and that could really put the country in peril. There's so many elements of things that are going on and happening right now. So the other thing that's happening in the backdrop is the Pluto, United States Pluto return, which I also have a separate video about that. That's an hour-long video on my YouTube channel. So go to my YouTube channel and watch the United States Pluto return, but we're in the middle of that as well. So there's a lot of strife, and the reason why I'm bringing that up right now is because that's literally taking place in the United States astrological chart in the area of finance. Have you seen anything about the stock market recently? And it seems like every other minute there's somebody saying something about the crash and and all this stuff. So Taurus is very affiliated with finance, with money, with material objects, material goods. Like I said, see it, hear it, feel it, touch it, smell it, jewelry, antiques, paintings, like anything that's like tangible, has monetary value, boats and planes and cars and whatever, like anything that is an asset for you, that is very Taurus ruled. And so that is also coming into some sort of like, upset as far as this, the financials that have been going on in the United States. And we have more energy coming in Taurus and Scorpio next year. But this is another layer. So this is what happens is we have eclipse, 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 eclipse in these signs. That's why the north and south node of the moons are so important when we're talking about eclipses, because that really denotes where all of these waves and layers of just change that are happening. Now, I did say I want to talk about Mars retrograde. So how does Mars retrograde, because I kind of talked about that a little bit in my last video. If you wanted to watch that again, that was posted on Facebook and YouTube. But Mars retrograde is also very active right now. Mars retrograde is stationary retrograde, meaning that it just stops. It's like a car. It can't just flip. It's like it has to like slow down, stop, and then it goes retrograde, and then it like slowly starts moving. So it hasn't even moved past 25 degrees yet. It will tomorrow. It'll get to 24 degrees. Okay. Oh, it's not really moving that quickly. And Mars retrograde just started on October 30th. Just last, when it was last week or the week before. And so we might still be feeling sluggish. We might still be feeling tired. Has anybody felt tired lately? I found people are either wired but tired, or they're just completely exhausted. So if you're, I want to know how your energy is feeling. Wendy said, oh, great. She had a great craft show this weekend, the last one of the year. Perfect. That's awesome. Kim said, I'm a therapist, and this is totally accurate. Yeah, we were talking about how the full moon makes people go a little, well, I saw this funny meme, and I'm not trying to be light. I am a little bit trying to be light about it, but one time I saw this funny meme that said, we're all basically cucumbers. We're 90% water, and we have anxiety. It was something like that. So when we talk about gravitational pull, and we talk about full moons, and we talk about, we're like, I don't know, 70, 80, 90% water. Like we're all fluid, right? So if you think about it, we're feeling that too. Our brains, are filled with fluid. And it's normal and natural to feel that way. And so, yeah, Iris said tired. Kim said tired. Kathy said tired. So it looks like we have more. Lee said completely exhausted. Amy said sluggish for a week, but more energized since the weekend. Yeah. See, I'm wondering if you're feeling this Uranus energy, Amy. You might have that in your chart, like aspecting something. And that's the thing. I'm doing a general reading tonight, and a general sort of flavor of what in the heck is going on, in the astrological skies right now. And that's basically what the deal is. Wendy said, well, see, you're blaming it on daylight savings time, and that might be part of it. But it also has to do with the full moon and this Uranus energy and all that. And usually after the full moon sort of happens, the peak of it, the height of it, which again is around 6:02 a.m. tomorrow on Tuesday, the 8th. Usually once we go up to the top of the full moon, and then it releases, usually we start to feel better. But this particular full moon's going to keep on going for another 24 hours, really, I feel, because of the fact that Uranus is activated as well. And that's going to keep the energy up. And it's like, and it's like going to hold it up. So it's going to be, that kind of energy. Oh, good. Monica said somebody told her recently that she looks restored. Okay. And you slept wonderful after 2 weeks of insomnia. So, so see, sometimes this energy can help you. Like if you just finally kind of wore yourself out, and then finally you slept. Melinda said you're exhausted. Oh, you have a new grandbaby, Melinda. Welcome. I'm so excited for you. That's great. I think you asked us, Melinda, 2 weeks ago for prayers for your, I think it was auntie. I hope I'm remembering that correctly, but post below, we were wondering how she's doing. So there's a lot of this Uranus energy. We have Mars retrograde, we have Mercury during this full moon, and then we have the actual literal full moon and the eclipse. So what's the reset button? This is the reset button, right? The eclipse is the reset button. and the moon is going to be opposing Mercury. The moon is going to oppose the sun. The moon, it's going to be conjunct Uranus. I mean, during this, it's going to oppose Venus. I mean, this particular full moon is really probably a huge doozy here. Oh, okay. Somebody said I just froze, but somebody else said that I was fine. Good. Yay. Hey, Naomi, welcome. Thanks, Joanne. That's awesome. And so it's something that we have a reset button that's happening. Where do you need your reset in your life? Taurus is ruled by Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. I wore my, I have my rose quartz bracelet. This is rose quartz combined with strawberry quartz. It's so beautiful. I don't see strawberry quartz very commonly. I don't know if you can see that here on YouTube. And so when you're talking about this Venus full moon, something's ending and completing and wrapping up and peaking. Okay, the peak of it, the height of it, it's the pinnacle of it. We planted those new seeds during the new moon in Taurus, which is April 30th, 2022. And now we're receiving, now we're harvesting. So what happened for you during that new moon? What did you ask for, wish for, want? I even wore my rhodolite, which is also Venus. So whenever you think of heart chakra, we're thinking of pink. I have my rose quartz here that I'm showing to you guys. I have strawberry quartz. I have rose quartz on my body here. This is definitely the stone or the color for this particular full moon, and it is also Taurus is also astrologically associated with Archangel Chamuel. Archangel Chamuel, oh, such a beautiful archangel. Thank you, Naomi. Naomi said that was pretty. And I think we need this energy, okay, for ourselves, but also for our country that we live in, that we're voting and we're doing all this stuff tomorrow, and that there's all these changes happening, and there's a lot going on, and there's maybe going to be some upsets. People are going to be upset, okay? This particular archangel's name is He Who Sees God, okay? And literally, I can't even think about another archangel that could not be more perfect, because Archangel Chamuel is sort of in charge. And by the way, archangels, it's not just Christianity, it's not Judaism, it's most major religions, not all, have some sort of belief in these archangels. And almost all religions have angels in them. So I think it's pretty cool. And I'm sure there's probably a few that I don't know about, but I'm talking about the major religions of the world. And so this particular archangel, doesn't matter what religion you are, is in charge of peace on earth. Peace on earth. I can't even imagine a more perfect archangel for this particular full moon for the United States. Peace on earth. This archangel can help us to find a romantic partner, a job, a hobby. In fact, some of you might have heard of Saint Anthony. You say a prayer to Saint Anthony. Something's been lost, must be found. Please help to bring it back around. Or Archangel Chamuel also works for finding lost items and items that have been misplaced. So that's something that you can ask Archangel Chamuel, and he or she will help you. Archangels are a they-them situation. They're not really usually identified too much with gender, though this particular archangel, a lot of people refer to as male. This archangel is very helpful at easing tension, anxiety, and nervousness, like stress. So if you think, because it's love, Archangel Chamuel is love, rose quartz is love, Venus is love. This is a full moon about that. Now it is something that's ending, peaking, wrapping up, or completing, but I don't think love ever ends. I have a saying that I say, if any of you have had a personalized astrological session with me, you guys have heard me say this. You've heard about, science class, like energy never dies, it simply changes forms. Well, love is energy, and love never dies. It simply changes form. So love doesn't ever die, you know. It just changes forms and hopefully grows and hopefully evolves and hopefully changes, and hopefully we keep up with those changes and everything. So so it's something that this particular full moon lunar eclipse is this sort of wrapping up and the completing about the love, and also this financial stuff. But when we think of Archangel Chamuel, like if you're having a lot of nervousness, a lot of tension, stress, anxiety right now, Uranus and Mercury, both of those, and the full moon and Mars retrograde can all separately sort of produce this nervousness and this anxiousness and this like feeling. So when it comes to this, you might want to pray to Archangel Chamuel. And Chamuel, by the way, is literally associated with the color pink. So it's interesting, this full moon Taurus kind of resonates with rose quartz. If you're looking for love in your life, if you're looking for feeling of peace, if you're looking for bringing more love, not even just romantic love, I'm talking about love of an animal or love of a person, child, mother, father, whoever it is that you're looking for love, you know, pink, okay, it's associated with the heart chakra. And the heart chakra, I think all of our heart chakras right now need some love. The other color, by the way, of this is green, which I have my jungle kind of situation going on here. Some of you on Facebook can only see a little bit, but on YouTube, you guys are gonna see I have like a full jungle situation that I'm going here. I have like the world's largest peace lily. It's like insanely big. It looks like almost like, I call it the mall plant. I inherited it from my mom, and literally, and then she inherited it from her mom. So this peace lily is 1,000,000 years old. It's really old, and it looks like it belongs in a horticultural display. So yeah. So Wendy said she's wearing pink. Oh, good. That's awesome, Wendy. That's really cool. Monica said, I hold on to angels, but little else. Oh, yeah, I'm sure I could find something for you. She was asking for more information. Well, watch my videos too, because I'm always talking about the archangels. And so the archangels, is this particular archangel also is a chief angel, which is kind of cool. Lee said, oh, you have a giant peace lily named Big Mama, right? I should do a session for my peace lily because it's really a big one. And Kelly said she resonates more with green. Yeah, green or pink is the heart chakra. Archangel Chamuel is pink. And Taurus is usually associated with this pink. But yeah, pink or green will assist heart chakra and heart chakra healing. And if you think about it, green really grounds us more. You know, it really is more of a grounding. Get outside, go for a walk, meditate, pray. All those things are good right now when we're getting just downloaded with all of this astrological energy. It's like layer and layer and layer and layer. And I'd love to say that it like kind of gets better, but on Thursday, on November 10th, and then Friday, November 11th, we have Mercury forming a square with Saturn. We have the sun forming a square with Saturn. I mean, this energy just keeps on keeping on. So you guys know what I always say about Saturn. Saturn is harsh, and Saturn can be rules and regulations and life lessons. That's why I said that there might be counting and recounting and counting again, almost like what we went through during the last major election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, with all the counting and recounting. There might be even more, because this is rules, regulation, like being a stickler for, like, you know. And so with Mercury forming a stressful square, squares are stressful, and the sun forming a stressful square with Saturn, this is a lot. And then today, Venus formed a stressful square with Saturn. Today's November 7th, 2022. So all the planets I'm talking about that are basically are aligning with their opposing Uranus, and then they're squaring Saturn. Well, what did I just say about the Saturn-Uranus square? See, that's why I always say these things don't just go away. It's not like, okay, the peak of it, the Saturn-Uranus square peak was in October. Right? But here we are, we're talking about Saturn-Uranus square again. And so that's why I said really we want to wait until almost the end of the year for that Saturn-Uranus square to really dissipate. And that thing has been responsible for a lot of the shortages of goods and upsets and unexpected events and upheaval. In fact, I think I talked to you guys about this before. Whenever Uranus and Saturn get together, that can be a time of war and attacks. 9/11 was one of those times, like 1970s. I mean, just like you keep going. So that's basically what's happening this week. So we have in the end of the week on November 10th at 2:52 a.m. Eastern time, we have Mercury forming a square with Saturn. And then on Friday, 11/11 at 3:04 a.m. Eastern time, we have the Sun forming a square with Saturn. So that's going to be hard. Saturn's always difficult, where again, sometimes like Uranus's energy can be quirky, fun, interesting, unique, and different. So I definitely think that this particular election is going to be, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to, I think on both sides. I really feel that's why I think it's going to be split, because it's like everybody's somewhat dissatisfied with it. It's not like there's not like a sweet, happy spot here. But you guys know that I like to talk about what's coming. And in March 2023, March of 2020, so this coming March, we have so many things happening. One of them is Saturn's going to go into Pisces. The other thing is Pluto's going to go into Aquarius. And that's going to really, really change the landscape. And I'm going to talk more about, I'm going to do a video. So just remember, I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. I'm going to do a video about that, but there's just a lot of energy coming that's going to be about change but we are still in the hard part. It's not like it's easy. It's like we're still in all of sort of this ruckus and this this stuff. And it's even going into next year. The United States Pluto return is going to go on into the next year. So, it's like, there's a lot of stuff. It's real stuff. So if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling, like I said, wired but tired and all these different things, you're not crazy. This is really what's happening. You're getting downloaded. We're all getting downloaded. So hopefully you can use this energy vibrationally to bring some kind of change in your life. Now, remember, new moon to full moon, which we just got through, you were growing something, you're planting new seeds for tomorrow, but now we're in the purging cycle. So this is the time to purge from the full moon, again tomorrow on November 8th, all the way until 2 weeks from now. Then we will be, the next new moon is going to be on November 23rd, the day before Thanksgiving here in the US. So we're going to be in the purging cycle. So what does that mean? Can you still the biggest question I always get about full moons is it a good time to manifest? Is it a good time to bring something? Yes, but you want to do it sort of in the way of like releasing or letting go of something. So I'll give you an example. So let's say you were like trying to work on your weight, okay, losing weight or gaining weight, whatever it is, you could say new moon, bring in good health, right? Bring in a slender figure, bring in whatever it is you're trying to manifest. And then the full moon is help me to release the weight, help me to release illness, help me to, right? So see how you can kind of, I know that it feels like you're sort of switching sides here, and you're kind of like, this is the full moon side, so you're releasing something. I hope that made sense to all of y'all. And please remember to like and share. And if you haven't yet already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'm going to be doing more videos like this, especially since silly old Facebook has been acting up lately. Are you guys hearing me okay? Hopefully you are. So yeah, so Archangel Chamuel is definitely going to be active, and this full moon is active, and so just know that we're in sort of interesting times, a little bit of troubled times, times that are just like there's a ruckus, going on. There could even be protesting and rioting or some kind of thing with this particular full moon. This week is going to be so. The more you can ground yourself, the better. With Mars being retrograde too, Mars retrograde, especially if you're an Aries or a Scorpio, because you're ruled by Mars, Mars is your ruler, that can really like make you feel weighed down. Or if you have Mars in your 6th or 12th house, like right now, if it's going through your 6th or 12th house in Gemini, that can even make you feel kind of funky and not feel very good. So you have to remember that, I'm doing these live broadcasts trying to help everybody, but obviously each individual chart is different. I always say everybody's chart's like a snowflake, which is pretty cool. So if you guys have any questions for me, I'm not going to stay on too much longer, but if you have any question, I do have my cards. I'm going to be pulling one card at the end of the broadcast, so make sure you stay tuned. And I'm going to be pulling a card in order to like get guidance on this energy, because that's been really wonky stuff. And Joe Biden, his chart, in his astrological chart, he's a Scorpio, and he has a lot of planets in Scorpio. He's got the Sun, Mercury, Venus, I think Mars. I'm trying to remember from my memory here. Nancy Pelosi has Scorpio in her chart. Nancy Pelosi's moon is in Scorpio. She's in Aries with a Scorpio moon. And look what just happened with her husband, Paul. I don't care how you vote. It's never okay to have that degree of violence. And so, she's going through personal transformation. Her moon is in Scorpio. So this is like a lot of feeling, like this really hit home for her, literally and emotionally. It really, these are waves that are going on, and they're just kind of pounding. So everybody we gotta even doing yoga, going for a walk, any kind of thing like that can help. Let's see here. Oh, Iris, traveling to DC, anything you should know? Let me just look. Let's see. Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of energy there in DC, Iris. So we're talking about the election a lot with this full moon. Well, I had two that fell out. Now I used this deck, and this card looks a little scary. I don't know if you guys can see this on YouTube, but basically this is Uranus, and this is patience. Okay, I know it looks scary, but it's called Sacrifice Victim, and it's about patience. Iris, I happen to know that you basically are a million planets in Aries, and so patience is not your middle name. But this weekend, when you go down there, you're going to have some patience. Sacrifice Victim card is about rushing, so you're skipping steps. So instead of going A, B, C, you're going A, C, and you're skipping B, and that means you could sacrifice something for skipping ahead, for rushing, for going in too quickly, and the sacrifice the sacrifice could be you. Okay, Iris, so you gotta watch that. So don't take your time. In other words, take your time. Don't rush. Don't try to push ahead. Excuse me. Take your time and just we gotta all be a little more zen. Be a little bit more zen. Yeah. So Kelly asked, will this craziness continue for the rest of the year, ebb and flow? Yeah, it's gonna be. We're in a really, really, really large cycle, like 5-year long cycle. That is and really, really compactly, it's gonna be 3 years, but totally it's 5 years. Or even more, of just kind of a lot. And it started in 2020. So we're still in it, Kelly, and yeah, till the end of the year, going into next year, it's still, we have a lot coming in March. I mean, like, we have a lot of stuff happening. So this is unsettled times we're in, you know, I mean, we're in that. It's just, you know, Iris said, take a breath before I do anything. Thank you. You're welcome. Safe travels. We will say prayers to your travel angels, and you can always ask. We have, I know Almir said, I want to get off this ride. I didn't sign up. Well, on some level you did, Almir, because you're a Taurus. So you incarnated during this time where I always say we must have been badasses if we all incarnated. We're all in this together. And we must have been badasses if we decided to incarnate during all of this. And by the way, that's such a good point, because I actually feel that's true. I'm kind of making a joke about it, but I actually feel that's true. Us light workers are called to the planet now to do the light workers, meaning that we're working from the light. We're working from source energy, God energy, Buddha energy, whatever. It doesn't matter what label you give it. The universe's energy. Light workers are here to heal the planet, here to help humanity. I always do say, and I think this is a great, it's kind of like I use my selenite wand to kind of demonstrate. It's sort of like a lightning rod, okay? You know how they put a lightning rod grounder, you know, for your house, like, you know, the lightning goes in and goes down into the earth and sort of it grounds the energy so it doesn't short out all of your electronics in your house. That's what I feel like light workers are here to do. Light workers, using the selenite wand as an example, light workers, I feel like that's what's happening is the energy comes through, it goes down, and then it goes out the bottom of the feet. So when we're in this age and when we're doing all of the stuff that is kind of crazy, kooky, and zany, we are unconsciously channeling this energy. That's why a lot of us are tired and exhausted and run down feeling. Is that we are sort of buffering. Now, the key with this is to keep this clean and clear so that there's no holdup. So if there's something blocking, let's say my hand is blocking the energy, it blocks. That's when us light workers personally, we suffer. We suffer on a physical level. We will have migraine headaches. We will have all kinds of these like physical symptoms, ailments, like all kinds of stuff. So when you're clean and clear and the energy just whooshes through and it's not getting hinked up and caught up, that's when we're able to do our job. But we can't take on energy for ourselves or for the entire, or I should say for the entire planet, and do all of the work, you know. That's not how this sort of, it's just that we're buffering some of this stuff, if that makes any sense. Amy said, spot on. Holly, okay, Holly brought up a good point. She thought she was in the age of the Aquarius and we're out of all this. Okay, Holly. A lot of people ask this question. I think Kelly had asked this question before too. So these ages that we're talking about are 2,000 years long. And the theory is we're just starting it. So we haven't figured out anything yet. We're still doing the changing of the guard, okay? That hasn't even worked out. And even in our lifetime, a human being lifetime, it's 100 years out of 2,000 years is nothing. It's nothing. So when we talk about starting these new ages, like, you know, we're just in the very, we incarnated during this time to really like kind of help get everything sort of transition and set up and worked out. The kinks are not going to work out for a very, very, very long time. So when we talk about the age of Aquarius, we're not even like, we took one step into 2,000 years. We're not even in it yet. So, and in our lifetime, we probably won't be in it, but we're here incarnating to help with the changing of the guard and the change. That's going to be rough. I mean, I have said this many times in my private sessions, and not to be negative, just like, let's be realistic. It's going to be rough. It's never easy when the changing of the guard happens. That's never easy. You ever have like an old boss leave and a new boss comes in, and it's like, oh, like, and the, you know, and there's a lot. It's just gonna be a lot. So, yeah. Yes, Monica said we were badass because each day we show up energized, working in magical ways with our heartfelt intentions. Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, exactly, Wendy. We just opened the door. I mean, that's like, we just cracked the door open. It's not even like fully open yet. So, and I'd love to say in our lifetime that we would be able to see results from it, but I don't know. I mean, we're still just in the such baby infant steps of it, and it's exciting. I mean, if we came and if our souls incarnated into this planet at this time in 2022, and we're here doing all this work, there must be a reason, you know. And I feel that a lot of us light workers have been called to step up and to start doing a lot of that work. So I'm gonna pull a card. I'm gonna pull a card. Yes, safe travels, Iris. I love that. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so I am going to pull a card here. What do we all need to know, okay, during all this time of like, actually, I'm going to do something different tonight because this is such big energy. I'm going to do 3 cards because I feel we need a more complete picture of what is going on, what the deal is. I'm going to do 3 cards because I think that'll give us even more of a planetary or more of a bigger picture of the planetary energy just for you guys tonight and that are watching on YouTube. And please subscribe to my channel. I have a personal goal. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. So please subscribe to my YouTube. It really helps me. Yeah. Okay. What do we need to know about the times we're in, the times that we are facing on this planet with this full moon, lunar eclipse, blood moon, beaver moon, okay, Uranus opposition, all the stuff that's happening, Mars retrograde, the United States Pluto return. My goodness, the list is really long, really long. What do we need to know about the times we're in? I'm going to pull a card for the current time that we are in. Oh. And then what we need to know about what's coming this week. I'm going to pull another card. What do we need to know about what's coming this week? Yeah. And then an outcome card. How do we process all of this energy? What do we need to know about this outcome that we are coming into of this time? Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so the first card, this is our current time we're in right now. What do we need to know? And I tried to pull 1 card and 2 cards came out, which, you know, if you see these cards, they're both pretty much related. A lot of them are related. I'm using Doreen Virtue's Archangels deck. Okay, and so if you guys can see here on YouTube and here on Facebook, I'm trying to kind of just do both. Gentleness and outdoors. They both fell out both at the same time. Boom. So that's what we need to know. So I'm going to read the cards for both of these, and I'm asking collectively, but these might also speak to you on a personal level. So please pay attention. Archangel Jophiel, go get outside, get some fresh air, and connect with nature to relieve stress and gain new and creative ideas. Okay. So this is about going outside, getting grounded. Remember what I was just saying about that green, earthy energy, get grounded, connect to the planet, because just like that lightning rod thing I was talking about, we need to ground ourselves and be gentle with ourselves. Okay. Be gentle. It's a little, it's not showing up there there we go, on YouTube. Archangel Sandalphon. Be very gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, situation, and environment. And it doesn't say news on the card, but you might have to take a news break and not be flip every 2 seconds on the news, because sometimes that is not being gentle to your nervous system. If your nervous system is overloaded right now, which a lot of ours is, we have to be very cognitive of our nervous system. Okay, so what did I said, I asked, what do we need to know about this time of the election, the current time we're in, the full moon time? And we got the card of teaching and learning, okay. Archangel Zadkiel, keep an open mind, learn new things, and then teach these ideas to others. I feel very much like I need to say this. We need to be compassionate to our fellow. There's a lot of you're right and I'm right and you're wrong. I'm right and you're wrong. And in this election, in this political landscape that we've been in. And you might say, well, look at women's bodies, or whatever your environmental or whatever your cause is, and the thing that that's going on right now. However, we can't make any headway with saying you're wrong, because psychologically people can't accept that. So by saying somebody's right and somebody's wrong, and we have to treat each other with compassion and go, we're all learning. We're all learning. I thought this was going to be good, and now I got to change my mind, or not, or whatever, And I feel like we have to soften the language and soften, like it's gotten really like camps, one camp is going to bomb your camp, and, like these camps are sort of opposing each other, but that's not how we learn from each other and how we grow, and say, oh, I thought this was going to be good, but maybe it isn't. Maybe that's not going to be good. So we have to keep open mind. We have to learn new ideas and then teach these ideas to others. And that's where it comes to, we have to really educate ourselves more. We're in, like I keep saying, we're in Earth School. We're on Earth School right now. We are in the middle of Earth School. I feel like we're in middle grade of Earth School. Like that age of like 13, 14, 15, where like everything's really hard and your hormones are whacked out and your body feels really awkward. I feel like that's where we are. So on Earth School, we got to be loving and compassionate, Archangel Zadkiel. And then lastly, when I asked about the outcome, what's the outcome of this? I'm going to actually pull one more, because I got this one, which doesn't surprise me. Based on what I was talking about earlier, what I've been channeling and sort of downloading in my own space. If you can see here, I'm having a little hard time getting it on YouTube. Patience, Archangel Jophiel again. Okay, because she was telling us to get outside. So she's definitely associated with flowers and gardens and stuff. But patience, your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. And so I think it's the 7 of Pentacles card. If you guys do tarot, it's that, the farmer is, trying to dig up the seeds. Oh, are they growing? But then you kill the plant, right? So we got to just remember that when I just talked about how the age of Aquarius is 2,000 years, the age of Pisces was 2,000 years, all these ages are 2,000 years or more. We gotta have patience. We've just been in it for like 1/1000th of a second here. And I know that it feels like we went really backwards during a lot of the last years that we've been, in COVID and all the stuff that we've been quarantined and everything. It felt really backwards. But we still have to have patience, because it does take time. Change that doesn't take time is radical, and that's what Uranus is about. Uranus is radical and in our face, and that's when things are quite shocking, and then there's a huge, revolt, riot, uproar, kind of thing. So let me just look one more time. What do we need to know about this the element of patience? What do the angels want us to know about the element of patience? Yeah, we have to nurture. we're planting seeds. See, we are planting seeds, and we have to nurture. We have to nurture, okay, what we've planted. It's like a little baby. We're like little babies in this circumstance. Like I just said, like we've only been in this for just a little tiny bit. Archangel Gabriel, as you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child, and both activities are important for you right now. And so basically, we have to nurture, like if we planted a seed, right? We have to give it water. We have to make sure it's in some sunlight. We have to maybe give a little fertilizer. Like, what are we doing to make it conducive so these little seeds can grow? We have planted seeds, and there are seeds for a positive future and change, but it takes, you can't dig them up and keep checking on them and fiddling with them, because it'll make them not grow. And trust me, I can tell you about growing plants. This is like I got the jungle plant next to me. So yeah, so we have to take time and nurture, okay, both of ourselves, our inner child and our own selves, and also the seeds that we're planting on the planet. And yeah, it is annoying. I mean, I agree with you, Kelly. Kelly is a Leo, so she's got the fire energy, and I'm a fire sign too. So I wish everything could be done yesterday and that we could just be done all of this stuff, but that's not what the universe has in store for us. And so there are seeds of change, but it's going to take time. And I think the changing of the guard during this, going from the one age to the next age, into the age of Aquarius that we're going into, I think it's gonna be rough. I'm just gonna be honest. I think it's gonna be rough because there's a lot of upheaval that's maybe even still to come. So we got to ground ourselves, dears. We got to ground ourselves. So I hope that helps everybody tonight for that full moon, lunar eclipse. Just breathe, Wendy said. Just breathe, yes. Take time for yourself. Maybe you'll get to see it tonight. That would be fun too. But even if you're watching this afterwards and you want to know what's going on, remember eclipses are not just tomorrow or tonight or yesterday. Eclipses start a whole new cycle that lasts, some astrologers say 6 months, and sometimes it's years to come. So when we're talking about eclipses and we're talking about this particular full moon, this is going to be a very big, and it's going to have an impact for a very long time, not just in the political arena, but also in our personal lives. So I hope that helps everybody. And thank you for your patience. I love this new setup. If it works for you, I think I'm going to keep it going. So thank you everybody so much for tuning in. If you want a personalized astrological session, please feel free to check out my website, GretchenHeidel.com. You can always send me a text message as well to schedule. And I'll see you guys on the other side. All right. Good night.